I need you to hear me on this because it's going to save you months, if not years, of spinning your wheels on your messaging and trying to find clarity. Because if your messaging isn't working, meaning, or it's even not working the way that you want it to, not bringing in enough clients, not selling your offers, feeling like content is shouting into the void and no one's really paying attention to you, it's not because you need a better strategy. The more strategy you're adding onto it is actually making it worse. I've tried this. It's what's actually happening is that you're trying to fix something energetic with something tactical. Okay. That's what we're getting into in this episode of Fix My Messaging. What is going on? Okay. So, like every client that comes to me is really amazing in sessions. Like they sit down in front of someone and their client and they are on fire. They don't hesitate at all in what their advice that they're giving, how they're handling things. They're spotting things in their energy and shifting it right away. They are on fire in a session. And then they get out of that session and they try to go write content. And suddenly they're putting on their marketer hat and going, how do I sell my work? How do I convince someone that they need to be in my offer? This is the problem, my friends. This is why your messaging doesn't connect with your people. It is not a marketing tactic, okay? Your messaging is an extension of you. It is your art form. It is the way that you express yourself. And to put a marketing hat on that, it is going to filter and dilute what you are actually meant to say, meant to share, how you want to show up in your messaging. This is what no one talks about, okay? When you go into marketing mode, you stop communicating the way that you naturally do. Think about this in terms of like when you first got started in your business, you really didn't know what you were doing, right? So you just kind of threw some things out there and you probably had some success. You had some people going, oh my gosh, this sounds amazing. I will totally join. This is often where my clients started. They had ideas, they did things, they were really good at it. Then they got influenced by the marketing space. They took courses, they hired coaches. They went down this rabbit hole of how do I actually learn to market? And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I do think understanding how marketing works is a good thing. What I'm saying is that all that advice gets put over the top of how we naturally want to show up, how we naturally communicate, and it is dilutes our natural expression, the natural way we want to show up. And we end up trying to fit ourselves into a box or a specific strategy that isn't aligned for our energy. We are all created differently and our energy works differently. We don't want to talk about the same things. We don't want to show up in the same ways as everyone else. And when we understand how we want to show up, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second, that's when it feels like your content is different than everyone else, right? And you don't have to shout into the void. You naturally stand out. When I'm looking at the human design chart, the conditioning shows up in your undefined centers and undefined areas of your chart. It is your undefined ajna kicking in and saying, oh my God, I need to over explain this and tell you all the things. Or it's your will center going, I need to prove the value of this offer. Or the undefined solar plexus going, I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. I'm not going to say that thing that is a little bit edgy. And before you know it, you sound like everyone else. You sound like the coach that you hired last time or the other person. This is also why we get stuck in trend like jumping, trying to go, okay, this hook is working really well. I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. Or this is what's working really now in the industry. I should jump on that bandwagon instead of trusting how we want to show up, our natural expression. And when we look at the human design chart, we look at the definition, the defined areas of your chart. Even if you're a reflector, you have definition in your chart. How is the energy moving through your body and wanting to be expressed? That is your unfair advantage. It is the way that you see the world, the way that your brain works and how you help people navigate the world. That is your unfair advantage. And when you position yourself, when you trust that unfair advantage of how you communicate, that's when your messaging and your marketing becomes so much easier to show up and write and put something out there. Your offers, my gosh, I could go down a rabbit hole on offers. If you're creating an offer because it sells, like it's not going to sell. You want offers that are taking advantage, that are positioned for your unfair advantage, the way that you work. This is why I've created your unfair advantage mastermind the way I have, because my genius is seeing where you are playing small, where your messaging is under all of the crap that you've learned, under all the strategies and all the templates, and where you are watering down the heart and the meat of your work, all in the name of marketing. That is my genius. And then showing you how we can use our human design chart to find that nugget of gold. What is the way you talk about it that no one else does? No one else says it the way that you say it. And the human design chart shows us exactly how to do that for you and your energy, your work, your genius. That's why I've packaged that offer the way I have. Strategy isn't going to fix this. Like, it's not, I can't look at this offer that even if it's positioned for me and my genius, I can't put a strategy on it just because that's the way you sell a mastermind. Again, I have to go, how does my energy work? How do I want to express this a container and talk about this container, and knowing that the people that hear it will go, oh my God, I need to be in that. I need that because I'm tired of creating marketing that doesn't work and trying to figure it out and feeling like I'm getting it wrong somehow. I want to be able to show up as myself. I want to feel so confident in what I do and how I'm communicating it that people are jumping into the containers in like illogical numbers. That's the work that we're doing inside of that container. So I can't just take some strategy. I can take parts and pieces and inspiration from it, but ultimately it is, again, I'm following my intuition on this. And this is what I teach every single one of my clients, is that you can take the strategies, you can take things people have learned, but we don't just blanket statement, take it for everything. We have to put it through our own filter. How do we want to build our business? This is how you build a business in alignment with your energy, with being yourself and creating a business that fits into your life and not the other way around. Now, I'm not saying that you won't ever feel doubt or insecurities. We all do. But when you design your business, when you create your messaging from this place of authenticity, your work, your content, your marketing stands out on its own. There's no you sitting here going, why is no one paying attention to me? Or why are these offers not selling? They sell because people see how freaking amazing you are naturally. We get so caught up in the overthinking. I get why. I totally get why. But we get so caught up in how it's supposed to look that we forget how we have our own unique way of doing it. If you want to come join us, we start in just a few weeks. So check out the link below. You want to be in this room, to be totally honest, you want to be in this room if you're done doing strategies and really want your own authentic expression, your own message that is uniquely you, that sells for you, that makes content 1,000 times easier, where you can show up and you know that when you say something, it lands. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to over explain it. You don't have to convince someone to come into your container. They already know if they're in it or not. You are activating them into, hell yes, I'm in. And it really does get to be this simple. Check out the link below and I'll see you in the next video.